I am ready to go for the NFL season, but I know we have college football first. What's up, Tom?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm not the biggest college football fan. Most of the time, I would take the points with heavy underdogs and or take a lot of unders. And fading the public is absolutely something to do. And so I am very, what's the word like? Picky, choosy, whatever you want to call it. Like, I will only I'm not a big college football fan, so I will essentially only bet on things when they're offering like a promo or a boost. So like I'm very particular, I guess is the word that I'm looking for with what I'm actually going to be betting on.
We've got great games, huge games, which are going to be very public. And then, of course, you've got the large spreads, which are just so daunting to me. Like those 38.5s. I have no interest. And I know that they're like, I was on VSiN earlier today and someone gave out a minus 38.5 on West Virginia. And I was like, I don't know how you sit through that. That seems like torture in garbage time.
It really does. You're just hoping that, the players that are obviously on the better team are really trying to impress and they're trying to put up as many, wins and stats as they can. It's so funny to see, like, when we talk about NFL, we're like, oh, this team's favored by 12 points. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. And it's like literally triple that in some of these games. So, I'll watch the games from an entertainment perspective. I think they're awesome. But like diving into these lines, I always I will follow and tail people when they have like sandwich spots, I think they're called, whatever, where it's like they're playing, like when Bama's playing Auburn the week after, it's like, let me take the opposing team. Not saying that they're going to beat Bama, but like something like that where they have a look ahead spot.
Exactly. Well, we've got NFL coming up in less than a week.
Yeah.
First things first, Kelly and I have an anytime touchdown contest on Splash Sports that we're going to do, which you should do, because I know that because if you like home run props, you definitely like touchdown props. And all you have to do, and I'm going to show you guys after Tom's segment, the ad for it. It's going to be fun. Anytime touchdown. All you have to do, pick a player to score a touchdown, and it's survivor based. So you can only pick one player throughout the course of the tournament. And if they score, you're alive. And if they lose, you are cut from Survivor.
Is it one per week?
What?
One per week?
I think the first week will be 2.
Okay.
But you only have to win one, and then it goes 1 per week from there, except for certain times. Like
I assume like the Thanksgiving may have its own day.
Right. But at that point, we probably are going to have a new contest by then.
Okay.
That is very far away. You do have an anytime touchdown scorer already coming up for week 1 on your card. Trey McBride, you like him. Why you like him at plus 185?
Love Trey McBride, not only this week, but really the entire season. If we look back to last year, if people are deep into fantasy football, or just betting Trey McBride, the joke on him was that he literally never scored. And he ended up getting a few receiving touchdowns the last few weeks of the season. And he actually had a rushing touchdown before he had a receiving touchdown. But we're dealing with a player that had a 29.3% target share last year. He had a 32% red zone target share. And he went basically the entire season outside the last 2 weeks without a receiving touchdown. So, for me, it's like I almost just want to buy into what I believe I could foresee the jokes coming. It's like, oh, he didn't score the entirety of last year. Oh, of course he scores week 1 this year. But in reality, the underlying metrics of having a nearly 30 and 30 of target share and red zone target share and playing the Saints, who are a terrible defense, the odds don't suggest that he has a 30% target share. So I'm buying into the odds and ultimately what I believe is a fantastic and will ultimately end up as the 1 or 2 best tight end, him and Brock Bowers. It's going to be like 1A, 1B all season.
I know the chat's blowing up about your Tigers pick already, but guys, I'm still talking about the NFL.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers end up getting Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
I'm not even so concerned about week 1. Just had John Murray on from the Westgate. He said the same. Didn't even expect Parsons to participate week 1 anyway with Dallas. Yeah. For bettors out there that may have missed the line on Green Bay or may have action on Dallas, how would you tell people to shift their action? And it might not even be about the Packers and the Cowboys. Maybe it's someone in their division. Where is the value after the Micah Parsons trade?
I would say if you don't have a Packers ticket for division, conference, Super Bowl, you probably missed the boat. Right? Like if you have a Packers ticket, I think they're 12-1, 13-1 for the Super Bowl at this point. If you have a ticket at them 18 or 20-1, that's awesome. Great. If you have them, 12-1 or 10-1, I would not be buying in at this point. I would not be buying in at the division, which is super tough. can we say that the Lions may take half a step back because they have 2 new coordinators? Sure. Will the Bears be just a little bit better? Sure. Are the Vikings going to be a little bit of a mystery because they have I'm going to call him a rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, who's yet to play in a real NFL game? The division's going to be really tough because the Vikings defense is still really good. And to buy in on a already moved number for the Packers would not be the spot to go. Now, we can say that maybe opposing team total unders on a game-by-game basis for teams going up against the Packers, that might be something good. For the Cowboys, their defense was already average to slightly below average with Parsons, and it's even worse now. He is legitimately going to be a defensive player of the year candidate with him, Hutchinson, and Watt for pick a number of years, 5, 6 next coming years. So their defense was bad to begin with. Now this means it's worse, which means they're going to be getting into shootouts. Their running back room, which they actually just released the depth chart, Schefter just tweeted right before I came on. Their defense is terrible. Their running back room is in the air. What does this mean? They're going to pass the ball a lot, which means Dak pass attempts on a game-by-game basis. People have their questions about Dak, he may not be good. They're going to throw the ball. Who cares? If they win, they don't make the playoffs, they lose on plays. None of that matters. What matters is Dak is going to throw for 4,000 yards. Who cares if there's interceptions? The volume will be there every single week for Dak. If we are getting a 34 or 35 and a half pass attempt number for Dak, those are highly projectable based on game script, based on game flow, plays run per game. Obviously, the total impacts it. And when they have a terrible defense, Dak's going to throw the ball 40 times a game, and the line's going to be wrong for half the year.
We love the Tom dropping gems comment. See, I have concerns on the Packers side of the offensive ball, where I don't know who Jordan Love's throwing to. The Packers receiving core is still either young with Matt Golden or they're hurt. I mean, I don't know how to handicap the offense for Green Bay.
So obviously drafting Golden, Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, even Tucker Kraft, the tight end, is good. They have a plethora of riches, but no one has stepped up to be a true number one ultimately. And, we talked about a couple weeks ago that Love is coming back from surgery on his non-throwing hand. And Watson is out for half the year. So they have all these parts moving all over the place. Players suspended, who's going to be in. Ultimately, I think just benefits Josh Jacobs, because if their defense is so good, and they have a lot of options, and okay, they may not have one receiver that consistently goes for 70, 80, 90 yards, but it's okay, we have 3-4 receivers plus a tight end that could all give us 40 yards, 50 yards plus Josh Jacobs. And then all of a sudden, okay, it's you have a touchdown. Josh Jacobs has also worked 24 to 12 or 24 to 14. Now we're just running the ball late in the game. So until someone steps up, I can see a route where no one player is great, but they're all kind of good. But Josh Jacobs is the best option that they have.
How much do you put into season-long player props in the NFL?
I have a good amount out there, whether it's player props or to lead the league in X category. It's tough. There's a lot of data to suggest that you can take, I don't want to say blindly, because that it's a tough way to put it, but you can just you pick 10 players that you kind of don't like, you have questions about, and just take the under on all of them. And obviously you're looking to come out, at least 6. Obviously injuries play a huge part in that in the NFL. I had a ticket last year on Nico Collins to lead the league in receiving, and he came out the gates blazing hot and then missed 4 games on IR with the hamstring injury, and he was just behind the pace. Even though on a game-by-game basis, he was phenomenal. So I would say unders on a lot of them are really easy to go about. It's also tough knowing that some of these lines are minus 114 or minus 120, and you're locking up that money for 6 months, whatever it is, 5.5 months, just to get barely back to, minus 114 odds. That's why I prefer the league leader markets, and I do have a bet on Baker Mayfield to lead the league in passing yards, just because he's going to throw the ball, and I'm not sure if their defense is good.
I like that approach because that's a better payout to get these guys leading the league in receiving yards, leading the league in passing yards. Especially with quarterbacks, that there are going to be quarterbacks that, as you mentioned before, only really have the option to throw. I remember Big Ben's final season, I had the over on 43 and a half pass attempts because they couldn't run the freaking football. So there are always going to be these kinds of quarterbacks. But let's get to Major League Baseball. We've got action tonight. People want to make their money tonight. So Tom, help Shawn Michael out because he is going to be so happy that you were on his Tigers tonight, plus 104.
Yeah, so I've been comment before. I don't know if it was him or someone else saying it's Chris Paddock is pitching. Believe me, I understand Chris Paddock is not a good pitcher, and Seth Lugo, I think, has some type of name recognition on the other side. But if we actually look at things since July 1st, Seth Lugo has been terrible. And Chris Paddock is not a good pitcher. I will willingly admit that. I've said it earlier this year, but like Seth Lugo has been terrible since July. His ERA is over 6. His xFIP is over 5. I think there's too much name recognition being put on Lugo. So if you like take the pitchers out of it, like I'm betting on the Tigers. I'm not betting on Chris Paddock, right? So I'm betting on the totality of the Tigers, which would be some Chris Paddock, unfortunately, but their lineup, who I do think will be in a bounce back spot after a tough series at the Athletics. I don't trust the back end of the Royals bullpen. And yeah, the Royals can hit at times, but if we're going to be getting a higher total game with a 10.5, was that J-Main 34 saying like there's variance there. And I understand that, but like variance can work in our favor. We don't always have to view it a bad thing. So Paddock, if you told me he gives up 3-4 runs, not surprised at all, but I expect the Tigers to come through with scoring against Seth Lugo, who's been terrible as of late.
How much would you look at the over, like the chat's saying?
If I would say if you don't like the money line and you don't want to trust Seth Lugo and the Royals, so I think we all would agree are a average to below average team, the over would be the play. It would be like over or just completely stay away.
We've also got German Marquez, who also stinks.
Yeah.
He's getting the Cubs under 3.5 Ks. Why?
He stinks. Strikeout rate is 16% this year. Absolutely terrible. This is his first start back since July 20th. He's being activated off of IR. It's also at Coors Field. And him getting blown up for 5 earned or 6 earned runs in the first 2 innings or 3 innings and getting pulled would not surprise anyone. So even if this wasn't his first start back since July 20th, even if he was just pitching every 5 days, 6 days, whatever it is, he's just objectively bad, not a big strikeout pitcher, and he's at home at Coors Field. If we look back to right before we went on the IL, he had a couple big strikeout games versus the Dodgers and when he was at the Reds at Cincy. And sure, they swing a lot, but that's not Coors Field. We can't be taking that like as a shining light, saying like, oh, he can strike teams out. It's like, this is the Cubs. I know they haven't been amazing as of late, but they're still a better lineup overall, and he gives up 4 earned runs at a minimum, I think, over the first 2 innings.
The Cubs at Coors definitely have no interest in German Marquez, nonetheless, at Coors Field.
Yeah.
Tonight we have a big slate of games in Major League Baseball, and John Murray just came on. He said, Padres, that could be a team, and the Toronto Blue Jays, that could be a team that makes the World Series. Tom, again, this is the 80,000th time that I have now been coerced into the Padres, but now we just see Xander Bogaerts goes on the IL. Like, how much faith do we really have in the Padres?
Xander's been okay this year. Like, I don't think that's a massive loss for him. And like, it's not like them losing. It's not like them losing, Pivetta on top of them already losing King. Like, they're not a great overall. Like, Xander's okay. Like, I'm not saying he's some massive player. I don't mind the Blue Jays. It took me a while to get to a point where I trusted them, because I would still say at the end of the day, the Mariners have the best pitching staff in all of baseball.
I feel like I haven't even heard anything of no one's talking about the Mariners.
But Bieber being back, and he's pitching tonight, if I remember correctly. He's going tonight. He's looked really good. So having
he pitched against Miami. Let's see.
It's totally fair. He has a very tough matchup today going up against the Brewers, and Jackson Chourio will be activated tomorrow. So their lineup will only be getting better. But, the Blue Jays having another starter that you can at least compete with, a top end talent, and he has playoff pedigree, I think is important. I think the Padres can be there as well if Michael King comes back. I know a lot of people don't trust Dylan Cease, but I still think he's a great pitcher. Not to say that he doesn't.
Well, I trust all of them more than I trust the Milwaukee Brewers.
Sure. I mean, that's certainly said, but something about the Mariners, knowing that you have Bryce Miller just came back on top of Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Brian Wu and Luis Castillo, like that is a 5-man rotation that can go up against literally any team. And when you have the increase in the offensive potential at a floor and a ceiling level, when we're looking at the output of their offense, the Mariners kind of check every single box. Now, it really comes down to the path that they have to take. Do they win the division? Do they have to play in the wild card round? Do you have to go against the Blue Jays and then play the Tigers just to get to the ALCS? That would be difficult for any team. You say the same thing about the Blue Jays. I don't think they'll lose the division, but going through multiple steps just to get to the ALCS, I think having first round is more important than any, and for both leagues this year.
There's not really a true favorite in my eyes, because I don't see the Dodgers actually making it back to the World Series. Someone's going to upset them, and I truly believe that. Tom Vecchio, what do you got going on this weekend? I'm sure you're on Sports Grid.
Yeah, Sunday, final baseball show of the season. Send off just because Sunday mornings obviously turn to football at a certain point.
No.
Yeah, Sunday, that show on Monday from 1 to 4, and then it's football season.
Can't believe it's here. Tom, we'll talk to you next week. We'll get some more NFL Week 1 action from you, and good luck this weekend and tonight.